Today we are checking out the original EVH 5153 100 watt 6L6. This is going to be a lot of fun, and this amp really surprised me. So let's go ahead and get started right away with the demo track first, and then take a closer look. Check it out. That was awesome and excellent. I thought that sounded really good. So those were 4 guitars into the amplifier. Starting off with my RH Guitars DCO Custom with the bare knuckle aftermath in the bridge, into the red channel for that nice heavy tone. And then for the clean section, I used my Dunable Minotaur with the EMG 85 in the neck through the green channel. And then for the crunchy part on the blue channel, I used my ESP EII Eclipse in vintage honeyburst with the Duncan JB in the bridge. Sounded so crunchy. And then for the heavy ending, I used my Schecter KM7 MKIII EX 7-string baritone, 28-inch monster with the Lundgren Black Heaven in the bridge in drop A, again through the red channel. Man, and I think everything sounded really nice. So for the entirety of this video, the amp is being fed into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12, in which I've loaded up a Celestion G12 EVH speaker for this particular video, for obvious reasons. And I know it's only a 1x12 cab with a low wattage speaker, but I'm not running it super hot, so it's not going to break on me. That is being mic'd up with 3 mics, 2 SM57s and 1 MD421 Kompakt, sent into the DAW, and there you go. That's what you're hearing. Now for the rest of the video, I am running into my pedal board down here in case I need to use a boost or something like that. Right now I'm holding my Balaguer Espada Limited 2024 with the Hypernova pickups in it. Sounds really awesome. Right now I'm running the red channel, so let's take a listen to how that sounds. That is Chugalicious. Now, my favorite channel of this amplifier definitely is the red channel. I love gain. I love chunky lows. So yeah, I love that amplifier, especially for the red channel. Anyway, EVH amplifiers. I have a bit of a history with these amps. Out of this collection, my very first amp that I actually sold last week for reasons was my EL3450 watt. I did a bunch of videos with that amplifier and I really enjoyed that amplifier a lot. Really cool amp. I also have the LBX, the little lunchbox, which I might compare this to because that would be fun, right? But I really wanted to get a 100 watt amp on the channel. I really wanted to experience this amplifier because, you know, it's massive and it's the first one. So EVH was kind enough to send me this amplifier. So thank you so much to the folks at EVH for sending this over. I really appreciate it. I do remember, I think 20 years ago or so, I was in a guitar store in Enschede, which is a city in my country, where they had one of these and I was trying out a guitar or something. And I was like, whoa, this sounds so tight and crunchy. I wasn't really used to that from tube amplifiers back then. I wasn't really experienced with amps anyway, but that really stuck in my head, right? And of course, this is the original one. They've made several others, some of which I might feature on the channel soon. Wink, wink, stay tuned. But I really wanted to start with the OG 6L6 version because as I've come to discover, you know, through using this amplifier in my studio, it's a bit different than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting this to sound more similar to the other ones that I've tried, but it definitely has its own voice. It's a bit raw and unpolished and fat and big sounding, while most of the others are a bit more tight and focused sounding. So that was a real eye-opener for me, but I really love that about this amplifier. I really like how it has its own voice. So that is really cool. So we're going to discover this amplifier today, have some fun, and I hope you enjoy this video. So again, right now I'm running into the red channel. I can't stop playing this channel because it's just so much fun. It's tight and modern and chunky, but still also kind of raw and untamed, if you will. I'm a simple guy. I can sit there chugging on the open zero for hours and I would enjoy myself a great deal. So that is awesome. So that's the red channel, but of course this amplifier has 3 channels. We have the green channel, which is clean, but it's not super clean. You can get it to clean up, but it's quite dirty. We'll try that in a minute. Then the blue channel, of course, the legendary blue channel. I found this to be quite sort of low gain, but amazing crunch, amazing crunch. And then of course the red channel. We have 3 presence controls, so 1 presence control for each channel. Each channel has gain, low, mid, high, and volume. You can switch the channels with a little switch over here, but I also have the foot switch plugged in, which you do get with one of these amplifiers. This is the only one that does not have a resonance control, but the low end is nice and chunky, so you don't really need it. So let's go ahead and switch to the green channel and get started there. I'm going to the neck pickup here. Let's see how that sounds with this particular guitar. So that's a great clean tone with a little bit of edge, okay? In terms of the EQ, I have low raised up a little bit, mid to the middle, and high raised up a little bit. You can really dial in a nice chime with the high control. Nothing wrong with that top end. Let's raise the lows a bit and some mids as well. So the EQ is there for you to use it, but I like how that adds some character in the top end. Especially with the fat neck pickup, that really works, raising the treble like that, or the high. Let's back it off a little bit, as well as the low end. I want to add a little bit of reverb right now just to see what will happen just in front of the amplifier with my Fractal VP4. That's a nice clean tone right there. Now, one of the things that really surprised me when I plugged into this amp for the first time, you can see that in the unboxing video, is the amount of gain that is on tap with the green channel. So let's start raising up the gain, and you'll see that this is quite a crunchy channel indeed. I need to compensate by lowering the volume. All right, so I have lowered the volume a little bit, raised up the gain to halfway, and this is what we get in terms of crunch. That's a really nice sort of British crunch, great for AC/DC style riffs, right? Low gain, but sounds quite wonderful. A little bit on the brighter side, so let's lower the presence control for this channel a little bit. Something to note about the presence controls is that they really start to react very late in the taper, or on the taper, or whatever. So when you're almost finished with the sweep, right at the end, that's where the most happens. Just something to note, because you might see that the presence controls are up quite high. That's because of that. So let's see how it sounds with the presence lowered a little bit. That works. Maybe raise it up a little. All right, cool. Let's raise the gain up to 3 o'clock. That's cool. It's a little bit on the dark side. Let me raise the presence up a little bit again. So at that point, little increments can make a huge difference. Let's crank the mids up a little bit and turn the gain up all the way. Again, really nice British crunch tone right there. Let's add a Maxon OD808 up front. That added some nice compactness to the mids and made it sound a bit more sort of clean, not clean, but sort of more polished, if you will. Let's turn the balance control up all the way, which is basically a level control. See how that sounds. Boost off. So it's more fat and thick without the boost, and with the boost it's more focused and tight, if you will. So again, with the boost. That's a really nice crunchy rhythm tone. That's a nice lead tone too, all on the green channel, so that's cool. All right, so that's with the boost off again. Let's lower the gain. Yeah, Anyway, that's the green channel. I like it a lot. It's quite versatile. It's like a lot of people could do a set with just this channel, especially if you're going to use a boost or something. If you're used to single channel Marshall style amps, for example, this is going to rock, right? Now let's go to the blue channel, the favorite crunch channel that everybody loves so much. Yeah, there's something magical about this channel. It's a really rich sounding channel, very British, but not as strident as a Marshall JCM, for example. I really love the character of this channel a lot. Now, I do have gain cranked up all the way because I like gain, okay? You know what? Let's try this channel with a boost. For the EQ, I'm running high at 2 o'clock-ish, mids around noon, and bass around noon as well. Let's try the max on OD808 and see what sort of rhythm we can get out of this amp. Yeah, let's see how that sounds. That's a really thrashy, kind of metal tone, actually, out of this blue channel. Really cool. Let's scoop the mids a little bit. Add some bass, because we're boosting, of course. That is quite a satisfying chug for this channel. The boost is off again, so again, this is the amount of gain that we're dealing with here. Not very high gain, so a good crunch tone. Yeah, really nice, crunchy, more classic tone for sure. Let's lower the gain a little bit. Let's lower it even more. Switching to the neck pickup with the single coil setting on this guitar. That's a really nice sort of crunchy, funky tone right there. And that's even less gain. So you can get a lot out of this channel. And I personally like it with the gain maxed and the mids maybe scooped a little bit and some treble added. The high control just adds some nice clarity. I want to go back to the red channel one more time because it's so much fun. So the settings that I'm running here is gain at around 230 or so. Let's lower it to 2 o'clock. Lows bumped up a little bit. Mids scooped a little bit, and the highs bumped up a little bit as well, which is my favorite setting. So this channel is a bit more thick and rich in the mids than I was expecting. So that's cool. Let's put the EQ to noon and see what we get that way. It's a bit dark and a bit boxy, right? So that's why I want to bump the treble. Get some nice bite. Scoop out some of those mids, those sort of more boxy mids. That is already quite nice, but I like to bump up the lows a little bit as well. Let's add a little bit of gain once again. That is quite massive sounding for sure. Let's also try the max on boost with this channel. I've lowered the gain a little bit, and here we go. This is with the max on. And with the boost off again. I think that this channel is tight enough for using it without a boost, to be honest. Let's add a little bit of highs. If you want more clarity, just add some highs. I quickly want to demonstrate how the presence control affects the tone with this channel. So again, we're up quite high. Let's back it off to halfway. That's too dark already, right? And then the rest of the way doesn't really make a difference. So see what happens as I start cranking it up quite high, where most of the stuff happens. Right around 3 o'clock is where it starts to, behave quite differently. So right at that last bit is where it starts to respond quite differently and do most of the stuff. It adds the most top end right at the very end, which is similar to my PV 6505. So yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, I can't really stop playing. I could do this for hours. I just wanted to show you this amplifier. I thought it was surprisingly raw, fat, and big sounding. I was expecting this to sound a bit closer to the others in terms of modern tightness. Not that it's not modern and tight enough. As you heard in the demo, it can do that quite well. But it has an overall thickness and rawness that I just wasn't expecting. And it's a really pleasant surprise because, I have some more EVH coming to the channel soon, and this is just a nice addition to that. It's not the same thing over again. It's quite different, and I really enjoy that about this amplifier. So I hope you enjoyed this video too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below because I'd love to know. Also be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons as that really helps the channel out. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and all that good stuff. And if you want to support this channel directly, get something like an EVH head at my affiliate links for Thomann or Sweetwater. I'd really appreciate that. Or get something in my web store like a digital product like a capture pack or an IR pack. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.